Go ahead and start it up. That's for all you Tweet T people. So my name's Andrew. I'm an electromagnetic addict. I love amateur radio, everything about it. I'm predisposed to it. My grandfather, my father, my brother, really just a big part of the family. So I really wanted to talk about, a lot of people have a question about what it is. What, is it? People imagine like, their grandfather's Cadillac and these big old radios, but really it's about wireless communications and talking to people across the world. Being able to provide a technology that really you're already familiar with. With the radios and the television that you receive signals, you also transmit signals with your cell phones, your wireless routers, your Bluetooth devices. Amateur radio really works along the same ways. We all transmit electromagnetic fields. Nikola Tesla, not only was he trying to electrify the world wirelessly, but he was also able to transmit a wireless signal 50 miles from Washington, D.C. to New York City. Far from that, we've come a long way. Most of the astronauts up in space are actually ham radio operators, and given them some free time that they might have, they actually turned an old spacesuit into an amateur radio satellite that still orbits the Earth today that you can actually communicate with and relay signals. We also like to build things. This is a schematic for a radio that really takes up a massive piece of your desk. We like to build antennas and really try and communicate as best we can. Now, you move to the future a little bit, and we love to hack things. Nikola Tesla and all these other people love to really get to the nitty-gritty of things. And here, that same radio that took up an entire desk fits into an Altoid can and was able to communicate 500 miles away using a small signal. We love to modify our cars, some more than others. I have 3 antennas on my car. This gentleman decided to put over 20 on his. I really don't hope he's not talking in all of them at once. But aside from modifying ourselves, from our cars, we like to modify ourselves. In this instance, at the largest ham radio convention in the world that spans about 2 square miles, in order to better communicate, my father and I decided to put antennas on our helmets. We were actually able to talk without any problem. But not to be left behind with your grandfather's Cadillac of amateur radios. We use computers nowadays to control radios, to transmit and receive digital signals. In this case, it's a Windows application that we're using here. And you can see it allows us to see things. It allows us to see more of the spectrum. A lot of you probably checked into Foursquare when you showed up. Ham radio has been doing that for a long time now. We've been transmitting our location along with short messages and what you might consider SMS to ham radio operators. It really allows us to communicate in a multitude of ways, and that's really what it's all about, is communication. Hams like to talk and talk and talk. There's some that'll talk your ear off. But in other aspects, we like to communicate as best we can for public service, for the community. We like to provide communications for parades, for the Detroit Free Press Marathon. We also, in that respect, we provide communications for any runners that may have problems, for people who might need water. It really helps facilitate things. And what that really boils down to is, when all else fails, amateur radio. So when the laser cats come out, or you have another blackout like we did in 2005, we were able to communicate just fine after your cell phones went dead and you weren't able to get gas. Aside from that, another passion of mine is weather. And one of the things that we can do is, in the springtime, we train thousands of amateur radio operators to spot specific problems in the air. The clouds, the tornadoes, the hail. We relay that information to the National Weather Service so that they're able to better issue warnings for people so that you can get into your basement. We also work with the federal government in helping to provide backup communications in case of any of those types of natural disasters happen and they lose their ability to communicate properly. Now, what's it take to get your license? A lot of people think that it's all about this mumbo jumbo, but really to get your entry-level exam or entry-level ticket, it's just a 35-question test that gets issued by the FCC, and it's good for life. Just like your driver's license, you can get it anywhere. It doesn't matter how old you are. This gentleman was 7 years old, and at the time, she was the oldest amateur radio operator in the world. It really doesn't matter. As long as you can pass the test, you can get your license. Some famous hams you might know: Walter Cronkite, The Godfather, and I think he's somewhere around here, Hubert Sawyers, and even his father. It's a big family affair. So I can't stress it enough that if you're interested at all, that you take a look at it. It's a lot of fun, and like I say, it allows you to provide a service to the community when all else fails. So Thank you for your time. And thank you.